Oh gosh darn it! Will, how could you do this to me? You like playing games on your phone too? What kind of gamer are you? Ah! Chain Chronicle is a mobile game developed by Gummy, and published by Sega. It follows the tale of a hero and a young girl named Fina as they form a group of mercenaries known as the Volunteer Army. They trek across the world and defend cities in any way they can, all while trying to discover the secrets behind a special book Fina's always carrying with her. The main game is played on a 3x3 grid where units are organized. Much like any tower defense game, the goal is to wipe out all the incoming waves of enemies and prevent a single foe from reaching the little blockade that your adorable bobblehead team erects. The controls are pretty simple. Touch a unit, touch an enemy, and then watch the action happen. Like a lot of strategy games, there's also a speed function which throttles the game if you find it too slow. There's also an autoplay option if you just want to see the fruits of your labors once your team is built. Players accumulate little orbs throughout fights that match to the class of a particular unit, collect the amount needed, and the unit can initiate their special, which could be a buff, debuff, linear attack, or a screen kill with enough leveling. There are several overworld maps where the story takes place, and... Alright. I'll address the elephant in the room. I know what you're all thinking. Yes, it's a mobile game. Anyway, back to the maps. You know what? Screw the game design. Let's talk about mobile games as a whole, the medium itself. Normally YGPT is meant to be about a specific game, and how a principle of it could tie into a discussion about game design, but I think this subject is worth talking about. I'll still bring up Chain Chronicle from time to time though, because it is an example of a well-made game that just so happens to also be on mobile devices. To define the term as most agree upon, a mobile game is a game that was developed for either the iOS or Android platforms. Some of these games that get developed are made specifically for cell phones, some just for tablets, and many work just fine on both. In case viewers been living under a rock lately, mobile games get a fair amount of hate from the gaming community. This is interesting because, as far as the crowds outside of that gaming circle are concerned, mobile games are great and are the games they gladly play. This gives off a feeling of arrogance and exclusion from certain individuals when they not only hate mobile games, but also look down on people that do. Look man, you can think I'm a huge douche for loving Vegemite as much as you want, but please tell me all about the spread you like on your toast. I'd much rather you shoot down my preferences while you talk up your own. Let's talk about you, the entitled gamer. I mean, bread spread expert. Many make the comparison between handheld games and mobile games, but is there really that much of a difference between them? Aren't game systems like the 2DS and Game Boy Advance SP mobile devices? Aren't mobile devices defined by their compact, on-the-go applications? I never understood this point. Let's just move on. The hate toward mobile is an easy explanation. Game journalism, or as I like to call it, the punchline to, "Oh, you write for a living?" threw around buzzwords like microtransactions and freemium as a means of talking down the quality of such games when the medium was in its infancy. Critics gave no time for developers on the mobile market to figure out how pricing and monetization of these games should work, and thus, the mobile market, in the West at least, never even got a fair shake with the gaming community. Whether the mainstream appeal of mobile games was in response to gamers hating the model, or unintentional altogether, or unrelated to that issue is up for debate. I'm no industry analyst. So here's what I've figured out so far. Only hardcore gamers outwardly hate mobile games because they're not on a dedicated handheld system, and because a few early examples constantly wanted you to pay money for things in the game that they either got for free or paid like $3 for. This is a fair stance to take, but in moderation. Let me explain. Chain Chronicle, to put the game into perspective, was published by Sega, a company that used to manufacture consoles and still releases console games to this day. And with Nintendo making the experimental dive into mobile soon, it's inevitable that the disparity between gamer games and casual games is going to become thinner and thinner with each passing year. We already see experiments between the two mediums, with Ubisoft offering optional unlockables in Assassin's Creed games by downloading and playing to a point in the mobile tie-in. Handheld gaming devices like the 3DS and PS Vita are getting expensive to make, and the market is narrowing greatly. So why not create software for that little texting gizmo that nearly everyone has access to in their day-to-day lives? This is simply a no-brainer. I don't even know why I'm explaining this. It's so so bloody obvious. From a commercial standpoint, gamers who outwardly hate mobile games this much are demanding that companies limit their revenue streams. And for what? Because they don't like it when a game can be played on a cell phone? Come on, Hitler was an okay guy, a true visionary. Let's forget about the years of oppression, attempt at mass genocide, his eagerness to log in daily to Jetpack Joyride for bonus rewards. The more common type of hate is due to the freemium and microtransactions features that many mobile games cover, where the game is asking you to pay with real money in-game to either unlock a feature or purchase premium currency not available in the main game. The common perception is, if you pay money, you have the easiest method of getting the best weapons, equipment, or resources. You're paying to win. Is that really a fault of mobile games, though? That just sounds like crappy, lazy game design to me. The fact that an entire medium gets blasted for something a chunk of passionless developers do seems like flawed logic at best. Even a lot of console games this generation have been doing microtransactions as well, so this is no longer a point just about mobile games. Chain Chronicle is basically Fire Emblem with Plants vs. Zombies gameplay, so there's a lot of RPG elements included. You collect allies in the form of cards, which are either used as fuel to power up other allies, or can be the fuel used to power those other cards. Allies can be obtained with either Arcana coins, Prisma, or premium tickets, and powering up allies with other cards costs gold. Gold and Arcana coins are the free currencies, but Prisma and premium tickets can be bought with real money. Here's how the game's presentation and design does this freemium model right. First of all, Chain Chronicle is 100% free to download. You can get it on either iOS or Android and play to your heart's content free of charge. Prisma and premium tickets can also be obtained for doing optional quests, lending to the fact that there do exist ways in the game to obtain premium features without having to pay money. The option is always there to pay for these things, but you can receive such items in exchange for your time as a player rather than your wallet as a consumer. That's an important difference. Look, when you access two screens, there's a little button telling you this is where you go to buy things. Is that really as malicious as some would make it out to be? And when you go to the purchase screen, the game's music even fades out, as if to say, "Oh, hey buddy, we're not in the game anymore, we're doing business. Just letting you know." And look, I know there are some mobile games that wave around red flags like there's no tomorrow. I get it. The stereotype didn't just fabricate out of nowhere. All I'm saying is that a stereotype is what it's always been. A misrepresentation of a whole as evidenced by a vocal minority. Mobile games have been stereotyped, and the scum-sucking media who want to pay their bills being unethical pieces of garbage are no better than the shitheads who feed the fire on real stereotypes and scandals that actually matter to the world and aren't some for crying out loud, no big deal, why the f*** do people care button on a touchscreen offering you service in exchange for money? Jesus! It just occurred to me. Why do I care so much? I don't know, had to fill the slot for this week. The first assumption for a game like this is that the premium currency buys the better allies and power-ups. That seems true on the surface, but not necessarily in practice. The game has different classes, and different classes and party combinations are better for certain situations and against certain bosses. A rare soldier class unit bought with premium currency when capped out in level may be stronger than the soldier you have now, but think of all the investment and extra money you'll have to put into it to get it up to the level your current soldier is. Is it worth the time and money investment to start all over from scratch? The hero of the game is a 3-star soldier card, and thus his level caps at 40. To level up a 4-star soldier to its cap, I'm assuming 45, it would probably take hundreds of dollars if one were to level only through the pay-to-win method. At that point, I think you're spending more time paying than you are winning. People got the game for free. No consumer is going to drop that much money on one game. It lends to the simple point that plagues the mobile space's reputation. In the gaming world, there's this tiny section of subterranean mole people who love to read articles on Kotaku, who could not for the life of them possibly formulate their own opinion based on their own honest experiences. News outlets piss out the words, and these mole people lap it up. Chain Chronicle is a great little experience, and there's really no other game on the mobile space like it that I can say outshines it. If you're looking for a medieval-focused strategy RPG that consists of surprisingly deep team building and has lots of cute little stories to share, then Chain Chronicle will be a welcome distraction throughout your day. If you're someone who, out of principle, doesn't play mobile games, make an exception for this. Take a chance. What have you got to lose? What, like 20 minutes of your time? Chain Chronicle is physical proof that the mobile industry is hated for all the wrong reasons. And that's why you've gotta play this. Or at least, you know, give it a chance or something. Thanks for watching. Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to N-Slate. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of YGPT. It was a friggin' long one, I'll tell you that. It was actually longer than what you just saw. I decided to cut some things out just because of time constraints. There was more I wanted to say, but I managed to at least pick out the things that I felt were probably the least important or the weakest. There was just so much, man. It must have been 12 minutes at one point. Not counting the end slate. So, man, there's a lot to be said. It is, without a doubt, my definitive stance on mobile games. They're just games, but on a mobile device. I see no different, in them, in terms of actual perception. I see no different. I know no different. They're games. There are crappy ones. There are good ones. Like on any platform. It's just the way it is. I do feel they get the unfair shake at times. I think it's dying down a little bit nowadays, but it nonetheless still exists, so I wanted to talk about it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. You can watch the previous YGPT by clicking the left annotation. That will take you to Freedom Planet, which is a rockin' Genesis-style platformer on the PC that is actually coming to Wii U in just a few weeks. I'm super excited for that. And on the right, check out this new guy I found on YouTube named Scalagrim on YouTube. He does weapon reviews, and he was talking about the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade? How friggin' nuts is that? He was talking about how practical or impractical it could be as an actual weapon in real life. It's kind of fascinating stuff. Check it out.